Braves country? It's Coach Ken Anderson coming for Hardcore Braves, and I know we're all excited tonight. Ron? How are you excited tonight?
Extremely excited, man. Look, we came in here, and me and you were we both said that they have a good shot at winning 2 out of 3, but we were skeptical at best, I would say, and we were kind of praying and hoping that would happen. But I will say they did a very good job. They played a really good playoff team that we're going to see in October if we get deep enough. And they showed they can go out there and play with the big boys and shut it down. The pitching did phenomenal. I mean, oh yeah, by the way, chat, 5 games up on the Phillies. Everybody can quit panicking about the division right now. And we're 1 game back from the Dodgers in the first round bye. It's pretty nice start to the homestand. Oh, by the way, you get the Rockies coming in for 3 games this weekend. That place should be rocking this weekend after this series, buddy.
Yeah, they'll be excited. Barry Bonds used to say nobody's going to brag on you, better brag on yourself. I guarantee 2 out of 3. And you kind of, what's he doing? So I was wrong, chat. I apologize. They swept. I was wrong again. I was glad I was wrong. Real quick on that, Milwaukee was very excited about this weekend. They 4 games up on us, 3 games up. I do like the fact that Milwaukee has to play the Cubs, so I'm not giving up on having the best record yet. Hey, Ryan, before we get started tonight, and we all know Chris Hill had a heavy heart tonight, we also at Hardcore Braves want to give our deepest sympathies to the Foss family, huge Braves family, huge friends of Chris Hill. I can't imagine what he was thinking going on the mound. We'll get to that, but we definitely want to throw out our condolences to the Foss family. 42 years old. That's just amazing to lose somebody that early. Let's get to the recap. Dodger series. They come in. We did say Sunday night that we both liked the way the team looked. They looked energized in the Little League game. They looked like the pressure was off of them, and there was a chance they could really do well this series. We did both pick 2 out of 3, and they played really well the whole series. Game 1, Bryce Elder takes the bump. He goes 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 5 Ks. The second inning was a boogaboo. He could not get through it. What I liked about Bryce, he almost had the same thing in the sixth, and he shoved in the sixth and got through the sixth inning. What did you make of Bryce's outing on Tuesday?
He looked great. Look,
Yeah.
you're gonna be like Ryan. He had 3 earned runs. Hold up now. Come on. He wasn't great. Yes, he was. If you go back and you look at a lot of the hits that he had, and a lot of they didn't crush the ball off of Bryce Elder. He went. It was death by 1,000 cuts. I think that's how I kind of put it in our group chat in game 1. I was like, well, they're gonna just single us to death, and that's kind of what they did to get those 3 runs back off of us. Is they didn't hit the ball hard. They just kind of placed it perfectly, and there's not much that we could do to defend it. So Bryce stuff looked really good. His cutter was moving well. His two-seamer, it wasn't spot on, but he had good enough control. His changeup looked really good. Slider looked pretty good that well as well. So I mean, look, you're telling me that Bryce Elder may be our game 3 or 4 starter rolling in, and we get 6 innings, 3 earned runs off of the Los Angeles Dodgers in a possible NLCS matchup. I'll take that every single day. So I thought Bryce looked extremely well in game 1. I know there's going to be other people that just absolutely hate Bryce, but I think he went out there and threw an extremely good ball game. Ken, how about you?
I did. I thought he threw the ball really well. Like I said, the sixth inning, he really nutted up and he really threw well. I tell you, it's a weird game because Glass now coming off the IL, the Dodgers got to be very pleasantly surprised with him. Went over 85 pitches. He had the same inning in the first inning. So it was a weird game. Neither team probably deserved to score a run. Got to give the Braves hitters credit. A lot of singles, a lot of going with the pitches. Like you listened to the hip call to start off with. It was beautiful, hitting the ball the other way. They were able to manufacture runs. It's 3-3 ball game. The difference in the game is Dylan Lee, Victor Medeiros, Dylan Dodd come in and just slam the door in the seventh and eighth inning. And in the bottom of the eighth inning, Olson, I tell you what, we told you they can hit this bullpen. They're really good. They got some good arms in there. Hits a double. Ozzie gets a single, gives us the lead. We take a 4-3 lead. I just like both at bats in they worked Tanner Scott to exactly what they wanted to get the pitch. And like you said in the hip coil, he can be hit if you get to the pitch you want to get to, and they did, and they were able to take the lead. What'd you think about that in the eighth inning?
They did an extremely good job, I think, and it wasn't just. I'll be honest with you. After the first inning, Ken, I was very upset with the offense. I thought they really underachieved, unfortunately, after that first inning, just because I think you had some missed opportunities there against Glasnow. I think we just chased too many pitches that we shouldn't have been swinging at. A lot of stuff that was out of the zone. We weren't attacking fastballs that were good enough. We're hanging breaking balls, but we were able to get through it. But they really, hammered it down when Tanner came in. They really locked in their approach. They didn't chase anything. They made sure they got the ball up and out over the plate, and they didn't miss it when they got it there. So, and that was the game plan. You get the slider up, out over the plate, it becomes flat and very hittable, and get the fastball in the strike zone, it's very hittable as well. It's not like he's going to blow 100 by you. He's got 97, 98, but I mean, when you're facing that already from Glasnow of 97, 98 the whole game, you're already prepared for it. So, I think the hitters did an extremely good job to tighten their approach up in order to be able to win the ball game late in game one.
Yeah, and give the hitters credit in the fact that they have seen Tanner Scott well, and they stayed to their game plan. They didn't get off of it, and they were doing that just a week before against the Twins. That was a good sign. If I'm the Dodgers, I can't let Tanner Scott pitch against the Braves in these big situations. I mean, the Braves hitters see Tanner Scott very well for some reason. So let's get to the ninth. Let's address it. Lane Thomas, I think all the talking heads have already addressed this. We hadn't had a chance. He's got to make that play. He got a good jump on it, but he's got to make that play. And in Lane's credit after the game, he talks about that he should have made that play. But with that said, I'm kind of glad he didn't make the play, Ryan. Lead off triple, and we saw Rossiel really zone in. And this is the Rossiel we need to see in October. That changeup he threw Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman will tell you, you just can't hit it. That's the Rossiel changeup that can get us through the postseason. Just a real good, the DeBond play. Beautiful play, high hopper. Made it look easy, but it's not an easy play. Great job in the ninth inning by Iglesias and Dubon. And I think it was a good thing now that when it happened, I was mad at Lane Thomas. But after it happened, it might be the best thing happened to Rossiel. It kind of refocused him, I think. And hopefully we'll get the good Rossiel the rest of the way.
I'll never say it's a good thing that one of our guys missed routine fly. Oh, not routine, but big league outfielders got to make that play. Mark Bowman put out the other day that in the Teoscar situation that Ozuna would have made that play, and I feel like the whole Jorge Soler Eddie Rosario would have for sure made that play out there and left if he was out there. But Iggy's like, you know what? I'm going to pick up my teammate. I'm not going to make an excuse for him, and he went out there and he nailed it down, man. There was no shot Freddie was going to hit that changeup. That's the one thing that I've consistently said about Iggy the last 4 or 5 weeks now. His changeup's not been there. His changeup's not having that good fade, the good depth, or the good deception. It's just kind of been floating up there. Well, he figured it out because it was spot on. It's not like he was throwing 97, 98 either. Iggy, I think, was 94, 95. That game was hitting his spots pretty decent. He was locating the changeup. I mean, and that's what he does. And when he's on, one of the Ken, you know it as a hitter when you were in high school, changeup is one of the most lethal pitches that you can face as a hitter. It just blends in so well with the fastball that it's hard to pick up. And when it's on, you're not hitting it because you got to be ready for 94, 95 that he comes out there with. So kudos to Iggy for really going out there and saying, you know what, they're not going to score off me. They didn't. He went out there and shoved, picked up his teammate, and got a huge, and I mean absolutely huge victory in game one because there was no guarantees in game three with the pitching matchup that was going on that you could win. You felt pretty confident in game two, but game one was definitely the swing game that you had to win if you wanted to win the series. So kudos to Iggy for figuring it out and really nutting up when we needed him to because it's been a sketchy last 4 to 6 weeks for him.
Yeah, good job, Iggy. So they get the win, which was huge. You felt like now we have a chance to win 2 out of 3. We get to Wednesday night's game, and we're going to just go ahead with AJ. Walt really touched on in his postgame. So AJ goes 5 innings, 3 earned runs, 3 strikeouts. Here's the deal with AJ, and he said 23 years old, guys. He's got a long way to go, and a lot of y'all want to fuss about the other guys, J.R. Ritchie in particular, about not throwing strikes, and AJ knows he does too. And even AJ talked about it afterwards. He can't be 50-50 balls and strikes. It's part of AJ's issue. Now the good thing is AJ's got a great arm. AJ's going to pitch in October for us, and it may be out of the bullpen, it may be in the rotation. I love how the starting pitchers are pushing each other to get that starting. Right now, we know Sell, Molly are going to be two of the starters, and everybody else is pushing to be 3, 4. Uh, with AJ's start, for me, Ryan, I'll get your take on it. I saw good and I saw the bad. And so if he gets better and cleans up the bad, he's got a chance to be really good in October. If he doesn't clean it up, then they'll have to probably just use him as a spot reliever. What were your thoughts on AJ?
I think you hit it perfectly. I think there was good. There's times where he looked absolutely dominant and they couldn't touch him. And then there was also the point where you're like, oh, well, he's got a long way to go in his development. And just like you pointed out there, he's 23 years old. And by the way, he didn't start pitching, I don't think, until late, right? He was a football player. He was a quarterback, I think, for a long time. That was his sport. He didn't start pitching until like late in his high school career, and he turned it into something. So he doesn't have a whole lot of dirt in the spike, so to speak. I know he's in Major League Baseball, but he hasn't pitched a whole lot. So, and he missed a year to Tommy John. That's a year lost to development, and you also got to get back to your regular form, and then you can finally start building off of it. So, look, I'm not saying AJ can't get on a hot streak, right? He has the stuff to get on a hot streak and absolutely go on a tear and be the number 2 starting pitcher rolling into October. But with the body of work that the other 3 have lined up, and the other 3 being Sale, Malley, Bryce Elder, I guess 4, and Martin Perez, and then you can even throw Grant Holmes in there if you wanted to. It's kind of hard to really say that AJ Smith-Shawver deserves a spot over those guys who've done it all year long. And AJ can be an absolute weapon, just like Didi can be out of the bullpen too. So I think that might be the role you'll see. Obviously, Walt has switched it up and has thrown him in the rotation, which is perfectly fine. I want him starting. I think AJ is going to be a really good starting pitcher for us. But postseason time, I think our bullpen is going to be our strong point, and we might as well just add another weapon into that back end of the bullpen just to make it even stronger, in my opinion. But again, good and bad. I think it was a fine outing. I'm not going to be upset about it.
Nope. No, it was a good outing, and against a very good team. We'll take Walt's comments from tonight to add to AJ. He brought it up to help Chris Sale, but also he said the reason they went to a 6-man rotation was not just to get rest for the older pitcher and Sale and Molly, but also for the younger guys getting toward the end of the year. I think most likely he's talking about Holmes has thrown more than he's ever thrown and stuff like that. I will say this. It's also, he said, we want to have 6 guys stretched out because you just don't know what's going to happen to October. So that's the reason why AJ pitching well is huge for us, because he's right. We don't know how they're going to be health-wise against October. And the more guys you have stretched out, we'll worry about October when we get there. Now, speaking of the Dodgers, they had a guy going for a starting rotation. Sadly, he got a blister, and he's probably going to IL, I guess, Sasaki. But we told you we could hit him, and we did hit him. Drake Baldwin went 3 for 4. Sean Murphy, 3 for 4. Now, one of them was a dribble down that Max Muncy tried to steal a foul ball on. They got a base hit. But he crushed a double to right center, hit a home run. Matt Olson hits a home run. Overall, the team was pretty good. Dubon went 2 for 5. We'll get to how we won the game. It was exciting, but just in general, they're hitting. I thought they most of them took good approaches against Sasaki. A couple of them were swinging at the splitters down below the thigh. Like you said, you had to let it go. We had a few of those. But overall, I thought it was a pretty good effort Wednesday night.
It's a very good effort. They did exactly what the game plan was for the most part. Look, I mean, Ronald's in his own head at this point in time. So I just kind of let that be what it is. There's not much I can do or say to really make anybody feel any better. He's kind of going through what Riley did early in the year, and Riley's still not even 100%. But the guys, for the most part, had really good approaches. They got the pitch count up was going to be a key, which they also did in game one, by the way, which was absolutely huge. Me and Ken told you on the hip call, the biggest thing is going to be to get these two starting pitchers in the first two games out of the game as soon as possible and get in that bullpen to wear them the hell out. So you force Dave Roberts to either keep Yamamoto in tired or he's got to go to a tired bullpen. And they completed that mission in game two. They got Sasaki, well, partly because of the blister, but Sasaki, if y'all remembered, he was already in the 80 pitch mark. He wasn't much long for the game after that. So he may have gotten through the fourth or fifth inning, whichever one he got taken out of, but you still got to cover 4+ innings after that point. So good job for the guys making sure he was in the strike zone. They hit the pitches that they were able to hit. So they got the hanging splitter, they got the fastball in the strike zone that they did damage on, and that's all I could ask for. They pretty much just spit on the slider most of the game. They weren't even worried about it. They were focused on the two-pitch combo, which was the fastball and splitter, and they did a phenomenal job against it, just like I figured they would. So kudos to y'all for making me look smart, guys.
Yeah, we appreciate it. So we get to the bullpen. Dodd coming in, did it what Dylan does. Dylan Lee had his first bad outing in a while. The velocity, everything was there. He just was not hitting his spots. And he put Didier in a very tough situation. Didier has to come in with the bases loaded in a 5-4 ball game. And Didier you could tell, was excited. He rushed the ball to the plate. He walks in the tying run. But boy, you talking about nutting up, boy, Didier. And he got through that inning. He showed some emotion we hadn't really seen Didier show. And then, of course, Medeiros comes in the ninth inning and always shows us some emotion. It was nice to see the others in the bullpen. Dylan Dodd and Didier Fuentes have been awesome for us. And Victor Medeiros was a great find to get us to the bottom of the ninth. I know your heart was pounding, especially when it was bases loaded and he walked the first guy, but great job by Didi to get us out of there in a tie ball game.
Yeah, I was. Look, it's hard to be mad at the kid because Ken, you know it, man. I hate walks. God, do I hate walks as our pitchers. But I will say this: you couldn't have made up for it much better after what he did. You walk in the tying run, but he goes out there and gets the next two guys out. And was it Muncy that inning or was it the next inning? Because I know he pitched 2 innings. Was it the next inning?
The next inning against Muncie, and the guy gives Sean Murphy credit. He called fastball after fastball because he's having a tough time with the splitter in the strike zone. He threw in 5 straight fastballs, and Max fouled them off. And about the time, even as a pitching coach, I said, "This is the time to throw the splitter.
Yep.
He don't have to throw it in the strike zone." And he threw it, and Muncie could not lay off of it. Great job by Sean there. Great job by Didier to execute right there.
Yeah, for him to get even through that first inning out of relief to clean up Dylan's mess, it was absolutely massive. And I was surprised that he was able to keep it to that because as soon as he walked in the first run, I was like, well, it's going to be really hard pressed for him to get through it now just because, the emotional swing of the game, Ken. You know how it is for kids out there on the mound when they like, oh, God, I gave up a tying run. Now I still got to find a way to get 2 more outs. He gets the 2 outs. And then you got to go back out there and get 3 more to keep it tied. And I think it was bases loaded again. Muncie's up there, and I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, and Muncie is all over the fastball. I mean, he's so far out in front, he's just crushing it foul. I was like, it's going to come down to whether Didi can go out here and execute a back foot slider, or he's going to have to go with the splitter down and away. And he's going to have to show the guts that he can throw it, and he's going to have to execute it to where Muncie's at least going to chase it, even if it's out of the zone. I didn't, and I personally, Didi, God, thank God you proved me wrong. I didn't think you were going to do it, but you trusted Sean because I know Sean called that pitch. You trusted him, and you went down there and you just laid your nuts out there on the line. You threw probably the nastiest splitter of the night from both teams, and it was absolutely perfection. And I was absolutely pumped up for you, and you can just see the evolution of Didi right before our eyes, Ken. You can just see how much he's growing as a pitcher. I know it's going to be a debate in the offseason. Do you leave him in the bullpen or do you start him? And now that the splitter's finally developing, you can see the argument for both because he's got the slider that's good. He's now developing the splitter that's going to be pretty good. And, oh, yeah, by the way, he throws 98 miles an hour. So it's going to be an interesting topic. But, man, he has been thriving in the bullpen this year.
Tell you what, I mean, if they want to leave him in the bullpen, that Didi and Dylan Dodd, to me, it's better, maybe even as good as Lee and Suarez. So we'll see what they decide. So that's an off-season issue. If we win a World Series and make whatever decision they make, okay with us. So let's get to the bottom of the ninth. Interesting situation here. First of all, let's talk about Lane Thomas. Lane Thomas was a great trade deadline pickup. Talking to you, Jason Reese, because he hits left-handed pitching, owns them. He takes Tanner Scott opposite way down the right field line for a double. We get a hit. We have one out, runners in second and third, and you knew what they were going to do. Victor Medeiros is on deck with Riley up there. There's no reason to pitch to Austin Riley. They know they're getting Ha-Seong Kim. Ha-Seong Kim comes up there. Walt talked about it. Uh, he wasn't going to put Dom in that situation. If you look back, Tanner Scott had owned Dom Smith. You just pretty much asking for a miracle. You're kind of asking for a miracle with Ha-Seong Kim, but at least you took your chances. And Mark Pryor, let me talk about a pitching coach, went to the mound, and I had a couple of y'all ask me text messages, what do you think was said to him? He reminded him he's 5 for 76. This is not the same Ha-Seong Kim. You cannot walk this guy. You've got to throw fastballs. He cannot catch up to your fastball. So the good thing happened is he got a 3-0 count trying to throw the slider. He decided to go fastball. He takes one down the middle, and then he starts fouling fastball after fastball. I think Tanner Scott made a big mistake. I think he should have finally threw the slider because Ha-Seong was finally jumping out there. Good for Ha-Seong Kim. He gets a base hit. And you just seen the whole Braves club. Let me tell you how clubhouses work. They want everybody to be successful. Now, all you on social media, even myself, can not like this player, not like this player, or whatever. You can all do that. They all like each other. They hang out with each other. They go to eat with each other. They were so excited about Ha-Seong Kim. Great moment. And this is the kind of moment you look back on and say, well, maybe this was going to be a special season. We should have known that when Ha-Seong Kim got a base hit to beat the LA Dodgers in the second game of a series, Ryan. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, the funny thing is my fiance was in here. I was like, well, this ain't good. She's like, why? It's like, well, and I'm not trying to be rude, but statistically, it's like you got the worst hitter and worst player in Major League Baseball coming up to the plate, and probably one of the most clutch situations all season long for the Atlanta Braves. I said I'm not confident whatsoever, but he had a great at bat. It wasn't just like he laid off the pitches that he should have laid off of, right? The sliders out of the zone he laid off of. He tried to he hacked at the fastballs in the strike zone, even though there were some ugly swings, and I don't know how he made contact on some of them, but he finally figured out how to put a good swing on a fastball down to the zone and ripped it in the left field for the walk-off win. Good for Ha-Seong. I mean, look, I don't hate him, but he just hasn't been good this year, so it's kind of hard to justify putting him out there. Doesn't mean I don't want him to do good. He plays for my favorite team. Yeah, I want him to do good. I'm glad I was wrong. I'm glad that he came through in that situation. So I still think he needs to be a starting shortstop? Well, probably not. But look, if he gets hot, you can ride the hot hand for as long as it'll take you. So, um, happy for him. Just like you said, Ken, all these guys are in the locker room. They're all fighting it this year, man. It's not just one player. I mean, I put a tweet out earlier today. If you guys want to check it out, it's Ronald's having his worst year of his career. Riley's having the worst year of his career. Sean Murphy has just been awful at the plate this year so far until this game here in game 2. Ha-Seong Kim's been horrible. Like it's what is that? Not 3/4, but at least half your lineup that you've envisioned in opening days having their worst season in their career. So, and they're somehow still in first place. They're somehow one game back of the Dodgers for a second round bye. So, very happy for Kim. Very happy that he got to have a moment of success in a very tough season. And it just really shows how tight knit that clubhouse is, man. They all root for one another, and they don't care about numbers. They want wins. And that's all I want out of a team is go out there and play for the victory. Don't care about your numbers. And at this point of the season, that's what it should be.
It really is, and it really shows. I mean, we've seen this all year long. We've talked about it. This team does not point any fingers whatsoever. They pull for each other. So big win. We win the series. Let's get greedy. we get to Thursday night. Great pitching match. This will be the pitching matchup. We face the Dodgers. Is what we're getting. You know that, Ryan. We're getting Yamamoto against Sale. Both pitched great. Both were fantastic. Yamamoto throws 107 pitches through 7. His first pitch of the game was not a good one. He threw a get over pitch, and Drake did not miss it. Hit it into the chop house for the only run. There's not a lot else to talk about offensively. Both pitchers look like Cy Young candidates tonight, Ryan. And Chris Sale was the best of the lot. Complete game. Let me tell you how short the bullpen was tonight. Now he didn't come out in his press conference and say it, but from a pitching coach standpoint, I think all we had tonight was Brent Suter. I think that's what we had. I think Rossio could have pitched if he had to, and he was warming up, but they didn't really want to use Rossio. So that's where we're at. Brent Suter and probably Rossio. So great job by Chris. 9 innings, 5 hits, 11 strikeouts, 0 walks. He did hit a batter. Ryan, the floor is yours.
Yeah,
Tell us what you thought.
I look from an offensive standpoint, right? My thing was for the Braves hitters, I'm like, you're going to have to hit the fastball up in the zone. You got to get the hang and split. You can't chase anything low in the zone just because he's going to eat you up down there. But you know what the problem was? And I told you guys this on the hip call. I said, if he starts painting the bottom of the zone and he starts painting the corners, it's going to be a long night for the guys. And guess what he was doing? After that first pitch to Baldwin, after he hung the split and Drake just smoked it, he's like, okay, I got to lean forward. And he dotted just about every single pitch from there on out. And he was nasty. I was sitting here, I was like, we're not scoring another run. But you know what the good part was? I don't think they're going to score a run either because Sale just looks like he's on a damn mission tonight. That's the best I've seen Chris Sale, and I'm not trying to be like over dramatic or anything because Chris Sale won a Cy Young with us, but this is the best I've seen Chris Sale pitch in an Atlanta Braves uniform, in my opinion. He went out there, he's like, nobody's taking this effing ball out of my hand. I'm going to shove it down their throat for 9 innings, and we're going to go home with a win. I don't care what I got to do. I'm going to do it tonight. And he was the dirtiest, the nastiest Sale I've seen in a long time, and this is what I've been asking for. I know I've been getting on to Chris. My fiance's even like, you mean the guy that you got onto so much the last few weeks on your podcast? I was like, I wasn't getting on to him. I said I expect more out of my number one, and this is now. Do I expect it every night? No, but this is what your number one needs to do: is go out there in a game like this and just absolutely shove it up their ass. And hats off to Sale, man. You shut me up. I'm so glad you shut me up. There's nothing I could complain about. You pitched great. No walks, 11 punchies, 9 innings of complete game shutout when your bullpen was shot. You did everything this team needed you to do and more. Sorry, we're going to bring it up, but sorry for your loss. But you went out there and just absolutely shoved on a night that hopefully, it sheds a little bit more light on it than darkness. So there you go.
Yep, I agree. Before we get into the series and the play of the series and the MVP, let me just point this out to Braves and get Ryan's thoughts on this. You wanted us to see how we did in the postseason. You just got to see 6 games. I thought the Braves. Now, look, I agree with Ryan. The approaches against Milwaukee were a little rough around the board, but they're going to be rough against great pitchers. Mizorowski, Henderson, and what was it through Sunday? They're going to pitch against us. They're really good pitchers, and these 3 are great pitchers. If you think this was a 7-game series, we just won 4 games to 2. This is how the Braves are going to win games because Yamamoto, Joe Davis said it on his telecast tonight, the Dodgers telecast. I saw a clip of it. If you thought Yamamoto was good in the World Series last year, he's throwing that tonight. That's how good Yamamoto was. He was as good as he was in the World Series against the Blue Jays. He wanted this win. Starting pitchers don't go against each other, Ryan, but they do go against each other. And they both wanted to prove they were the best pitcher in baseball tonight. Great for the sellout crowd there tonight. But what do you think about, we did get to see 6 postseason games. What I like about it is Pat Murphy, Dave Roberts, and Walt Weiss managed them like they were postseason games. Great to see. And you got to be excited as a Braves fan that we come out 4-2 in these 6. What are your overall thoughts about that?
Yeah, like I said, I got onto the offense. Like you said, Ken, I got onto the offense in Milwaukee. They weren't good, but they cleaned it up a little bit in that last game. We both pointed that out. And we said if they carry that over and they have a little bit more fun in these next couple of games against the Dodgers, they should fare decently. We thought they definitely could win 2 out of 3, but they locked in, man. Like totally different lineup, especially in the first inning of the first game where they weren't out there manufactured 3 runs, and that was the one thing I said. I was like, they got to start manufacturing runs like they did in the first part of the season, and they did. If if that lineup, I'm not saying they need to be superstars up and down, but if that lineup shows up in October where they work counts, they get on base, they move runners, they hit the sac flies or ground balls that they need to with less than 2 outs to get a guy home from third base, they can go win it all in the World Series. They can go do it, but they got to stay healthy, and these guys got to consistently have good approaches. And I think that's going to really, if a couple of guys would just focus on their approach and forget about mechanics and just go up there with an idea of what they want to do and focus on that, and not so much mechanics, I think they both would get out of it. I think Riley would get out of it, and I think Ronald would get out of it. I think that's a lot of their problem right now. So they're just trying to do too much. But I mean, there's not much to complain about, man. And by the way, chat, we went 3-3 against Milwaukee this year, and we just went 5-1 against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So we went a combined, what is that, 8-4 against the top 2 teams in Major League Baseball right now. That dog's gonna hunt, Ken. That dog will hunt.
Yeah, and we're 5-1 against the Phillies. They're 13-5. They're 37-23 with teams over 500, the best record in baseball. So they're a legit contender. Real quick on Ronnie, Ryan brought it up. Ronnie's definitely in his head. That's why he's set tonight. The play in right field where he held on the ball and Ohtani took advantage and got a double, that toed walk. Ronnie is not quite. He's taking his bats a little too much. So a night off was good for Ronnie. Let's see how he bounces back against the Rockies this weekend, because Ronnie needs to get his head right. We need Ronnie to not be even 23 Ronnie, just Ronnie just to be a really good Ronnie. With that said, play of the series. Oh my God, I had so many you can pick from and MVPs. But what was your play of the series?
All right, there's 2 of them. I'm only going to pick one. You can pick the other one, Ken. That way we cover both. I'm going to give it to HSK. The walk-off win from the unlikeliest source of heroes. I think that was a really good momentum swing for the Braves. It really kind of jolted them, back in the right direction. Not saying game one didn't, because obviously, you got 3 moments right there. If you want to count Iglesias' ninth inning out there, you could have gone deep. There's so many, but I'm going to give it to HSK a little bit. I'm going to go back to the offense. He's had a really tough year. He's had to swallow some pride as a former starting player, and he had to go ride the pine a little bit, and he got his shot, and he came through, and he got to enjoy that a little bit. So I'll give it to HSK, Ken. But there's a lot of moments in this series.
Yeah, I'm going to do a combination from the pitching coach standpoint. I thought the way Fuentes and Iglesias got out of jams the Dodgers normally don't let you get out of jams. The Dodgers are the best team in baseball to take your mistakes and for them to make mistakes, and Fuentes and Iglesias, we'll do a combined play of the series. Fuentes getting through the inning with the bases loaded in a tie game, and then doing it with striking out Muncy, and then Iglesias. I mean, it could be the play of the year. The play of the series could also be him. That changeup he threw Freeman was unhittable. So I'm going to go there. MVP of the series.
Man, I'm gonna go Chris Sale. Look, you could have gone. I really thought this. I can't really go. I can't really go the offensive route just because there wasn't one standout guy. They all pitched in. Like it was an entire offense that really pitched in this series. You could go on starting pitching. You could, as a whole, because they all did well. You could have gone the bullpen because they were nasty. But for Chris Sale to go out there and give them what I've been asking him to do for a while now, and just go out there and shove and give everybody a day off, and he did absolutely that. So I'm going to go Chris Sale. He's my series MVP, Ken.
Yeah, I think he probably is anybody's MVP of the series when you throw a complete game in this kind of dynamic baseball's in now. I'm got a weird MVP. We'll get to that. I will give runner-up MVP to Chris Sale's Drake Baldwin. Drake Baldwin to me was the one guy offensively this week, 3 for 4, and then he hit the home run tonight. But like you said, so many guys pitch in. You know, my MVP of the series is Walt Weiss. I thought Walt Weiss stepped up his game. I got to be honest with you. I've been critical of a few decisions he has made in the month of August. Some things I thought he hit on everything, including when he walked Muncy. Remember that he walked Muncy to get to a spot, and then he decided to pitch to Muncy with Fuentes to know when to pitch to a guy like Max Muncy and when to not to pitch to him. I think does an excellent job. And look, he could have took the easy route. He could have just took if nobody would have fussed if he threw Don Smith up there. Am I right? Nobody would have fussed. But
No,
he knew how bad
there's a
Dom
section.
was against Turner.
There's a section.
Huh?
There's a section that
Oh yeah,
probably would
yeah.
have
There's
been.
always a section. There's always a section. But most people would have been. But Hassan Kim, to send him up there knowing he was really a better chance, I give him credit for that. And tonight, he even said in his press conference, Chris Sale's not coming out of that game. He didn't even think about it. He can see with his eyes Chris Sale wanted this complete game. Chris Sale actually told him going in the dugout, "This is mine," and he said, "Yeah, I wouldn't think anything different." So I'm gonna go Walt Weiss. I know that's a little strange, but I'm gonna give Walt credit when he gets credit because we stay on him when he doesn't. So he's a manager. He's human. He's gonna make mistakes. So with that said, you got anything else to add from the series before we turn our sight to the purple team coming from the Rocky Mountains?
I do. That play right there that you guys just saw, if you're watching on YouTube, that should have been the game-ending double play. I don't know how New York missed this. His foot's completely on the bag right there. Perfect. Like his toes touching the base. How the hell they missed that is absolutely crazy, but lucky for them, Chris Sale's just that good that it didn't matter. So, New York, for God's sakes, man, put cameras where you need cameras and just think about the plays that are going to come up throughout a course of a year and learn from the ones that you didn't have the best angles on to create those angles so we don't have it in the future. And just let everything be challengeable. Can we do that, Ken? Like there was a play earlier in this series that Yaz completely whiffed on a pitch that would have scored the 4th run of the inning that actually kind of did matter, by the way. And they just completely missed it. So Major League Baseball's got to get that fixed, man. This golly, how long has replay been out now? Almost 10 years now. 5, at least 6 or 7. Get it right. Come on, man. Jeez, Louise.
We have to go back to whenever Jeter hit the home run. That's what brought Lee Play in for home run boundary calls. So whenever that was, when the kid reached over against the Orioles. The one other thing that I will add from that is it's kind of unique for both teams to lose their challenge on one play. I've never seen where both teams have lost their challenge on one play. That's what happened tonight. All right, so we get to the Rockies. I had 5 text messages. I thought Jason, my friend Jason, put it best. By the way, welcome back to Twitter, Jason. After quitting it, I know Ryan's laughing. So this is when you got to put your foot on the throat. I mean, look, the Rockies are coming to town. They're the worst team in the National League. You've got to put your foot on the throat. You cannot let up. You have got to sweep this series. Now, that's hard. You cannot do worse than 2 out of 3. This is what we got. Let you know what the pitching match is before you dive into the Rockies here, Ryan. Sagano is pitching for them. He is a really good pitcher sometimes. He's a flaky pitcher. He pitches really good. He pitches bad. It's really if he can spot his off speed for strikes. That's his whole problem. He gets Grant Holmes. And Grant, for some reason, likes pitching against the Rockies, so we'll see how he does. Feltner's going in game 2, another really good kind of pitcher. Martin Perez is going for them, and I'm excited about Sunday's matchup. Molly's going for us. A kid named Mason Adams. He probably wishes to get traded out of Colorado. He's already off to a great start. He's got a 2.86 ERA. What do you think about the pitching matchups, and what do you think about the Colorado Rockies coming to town?
You got to win 2 out of 3. Look, I'm never going to add. I know you got to try to kind of sweep this, right? But I'll take the sweep against the Dodgers if you win 2 out of 3 against Colorado. You got to have a 5-1 homestand coming into this, and I hope Walt comes in tomorrow. He's like, "Hey fellas, great start to the homestand. Job's not done. We got to go out there and we got to win these next 3 games against a piss poor team. So don't let your heads get too far away from the game that's currently going on. Don't think too far ahead. Focus on the task at hand. So, and I'm sure that the guys know that. I'm sure that they will be. They're professionals. But Sugano's gonna be. He's a crafty right-handed veteran pitcher. He's going to try to get you chase outside the zone. He can't get you out inside the zone. So keep him in the zone. I'm pretty sure if you get him elevated, you can have a lot of success. I don't know much about Feltner. I haven't looked too much into his pitch mix yet, or the other kid. But I mean, if the new kids, how long's he been in the big leagues, Ken? Less than a year.
Yeah, listen.
Less than a year. So you're just not a whole lot out on him.
Yeah.
The guys haven't seen him yet. So that's going to be a tough ride right there. Guys haven't seen the arm action yet. They don't know what his pitches really do. You can always go out there and look at film. You can always put him on the hack attack machine where it simulates the guys throwing, but there's nothing like going out there and seeing it for the first time, as you know, Ken. So that one's going to be a tough one, but the first two you got to get. You got to get the first 2 games.
I agree, and here's the key to this series. Their bullpen is horrible, so you got to get their pitch counts up, and that's how they lose a lot of games. Now they have pitched better lately, so we'll see how that goes. With that said, also don't forget we got our we I almost forget all the time. We got that makeup game against the Giants on Monday, so that's 4 games to finish off this homestand. I think you got to win at least 3 out of those 4. I'd like to win all 4, but with that said, how do you think we're going to do against the Rockies? And if you want to talk about the Giants, you can this weekend.
The Giants, I'll go ahead and start with them just because it's one game. They're not going to be as a rollover as people think they are. They can pitch a little bit, especially if we catch Logan Webb in that game. I don't know who's going to throw. I don't think anybody knows right now because that's 4 days away. But depending upon who they throw, they got somewhat decent of a bullpen. I know that's kind of a little bit more thin, especially since Eric Miller's gone. Thank God. Which, by the way, I think that's one guy I wish we would have gotten because he's been nasty in Boston. But the Giants have just kind of had us the last couple of years, and I don't know why. Devers is there. Devers kind of owns us, so it's going to be a tricky game. But like you said, Ken, we got to win 3 out of 4 one way or the other. So if you take 2 out of 3 from the Colorado Rockies, you got to go win that game against San Francisco. You got to keep winning ball games because the Brewers and Dodgers are not going to be letting up anytime soon. So you got to keep pace.
Yeah, and we told you that we thought we could gain ground on the Phillies. We did that. We gained a game. 2 games on the Phillies. They went 1-2. They're going to Anaheim to play the Angels. No reason not to gain another game on them. Detmers is throwing this weekend, so that's huge. That's going to be good. Money game is interesting with the Giants. Depends on which team is really into the game. Giants are going to fly in for play one game. Are the Hearts going to be in it? The Braves have got to go on a road trip and it's going to be a weird kind of environment. I don't even know how many fans are going to show up or even remember the game. So we'll see which team is into it. But I'm like you; they got to win at least 3 out of these 4. And I don't know how you get there. You sweep the Rockies and you blow Monday night's game. I don't think any of us will be pissed. Well, there's a section that will be pissed, but most of us won't be pissed. With that said, who is your pick to click against the Colorado Rockies?
And I will say, on my pick to click was Austin this past series, but I will say he didn't shit the bed completely. So he's not completely off my books for future picks. I will say that. But he's not going to be my pick this series. And you know what I'm going to go, Ken? I'm going to go a little outside the box here. Are you ready? The entire Atlanta Braves offense should have a fun weekend. The entire offense is my pick to click. I don't care about the rules, chat. I want everybody to hit 2 or 3 homers this series. I want it to be a party out front type series. Absolutely have a ton of barrels. And it's, you know what? Oktoberfest is back in stores now. I've been enjoying that brand of beer right now. If you guys don't have Oktoberfest in your refrigerator, you should. And this is not a sponsored ad, by the way. I just really like the beer. So go have fun, guys. Go out there. You've had a really stressful last couple of weeks. Go out there and just let it eat against some guys that aren't quite as good as you. So the entire offense, go have fun.
I like it. Let's do it. Braves somehow are going to have I think they're going to end up having a very good August here, especially if they finish this deal, which is amazing. It gets right in the middle of it. They had a terrible series against the Twins. I don't even mind that losing 2 out of 3 to the Brewers because they were all close games. The Twins series is still going to baffle me the rest of the year. That just drove me insane. I'm going to go pick the click since you took the whole offense. I'm going to narrow mine down. I'm going to cheat too then. I'll cheat too then. I'm going to go the outfielders. I think Lane Thomas, Mike Yastrzemski, Michael Harris, and even Ronald Acuna will. And I was his pick. He was my pick to click, and he did crap the bed this week, enough to where he got sent on the bench today. But I'll go the Atlanta Braves outfielders. Mostly Michael Harris. I think Michael Harris is going to crush this weekend. We'll see. All right, so we're going to get out of here. You got anything to add before we get out of here, Ryan?
But if our picks to click are wrong, we are in trouble. That's the only thing I got. But I will say this: absolutely fantastic job by the Atlanta Braves so far. Look, you could look at up and down this team. They shouldn't be where they are with the amount of stuff that's going wrong and the amount of stuff that we've had to piece together. But somehow these guys are finding a way to win. That's what makes a really special group of guys and a really special team. So it's been fun to watch, and I hope they continue it. And I hope a couple of guys that we desperately root for and want to do well for the team really get going. And I'm talking to the two big guys, Riley and Ronald. They got to get going. And I hope Ozzy's showing some signs, Ken. He's showing some signs, hitting the ball hard, driving into sack flies like he likes to do. So hopefully some of the guys that are struggling a little bit get going. That's all I got.
I just need my friend Brian to talk bad about Ozzy. He talks bad about him and he hits 107-mile-an-hour base hit. So, Brian, just keep it up. So, I love you, bro. I will say this. Joe Davis, Brian Anderson from the Brewers, Joe Sciambi from the Cubs. I brings them up for a reason. They sound like us. They ask them all about their teams. Everybody looks at their team and says, I can see how we're going to get beat in the postseason. All we're asking, I know Matt Chernoff has asked, I know CJ Nikolsky has asked, I know Peter Mullen has asked, I know the guys over at 92.9 have asked. Guys, think about how we can win the World Series. Again, there's 8 teams out there that can win the World Series. Maybe a 9th one. Maybe the Mariners are getting right. Kyle Raleigh maybe putting a 9th one. We'll see with their pitching staff. But definitely 8 teams. We're one of the 8. Let's enjoy down the stretch. I think we can still get the best record if we get a little help from the Cubs. And let's go to the World Series. Let's keep winning series. Let's put the Phillies away when we go to Philadelphia. Let's nail them away when we go to Philadelphia. All right, that's our final thoughts. Again, like Ryan always says, please like, comment, subscribe, follow. Y'all are hitting the comments. We try to get to y'all, good or bad. Tell us when we're not doing something well. You disagree. One of the guys who is one of our biggest followers, we don't mind. We talk and text all the time. We were in a discussion all night tonight. He knows who he is out there. So we don't mind. We love talking baseball. So shoot us our way. We love you, Braves country. We're going to get out of here. And as always, peace.
You know what, boys? You guys are going to be world champions for the rest of your life.